Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today I'm going to do a deep dive into how I'm planning my DIY me-made wardrobe that I'm starting this year. So, after pulling my email list earlier this week, they told me that they were interested in learning more about how I was planning it and going to attack the whole process, because if you've never done it, it's a little bit overwhelming. It's a little bit overwhelming for me. So I thought I'd share the process that I'm using to make the plans and the mindset I'm kind of keeping myself in so that I don't get overwhelmed during the process. Let's get started. So what is a capsule wardrobe? Most people picture a capsule wardrobe as something that has a strict structure, So you see this a lot for traveling. So people who want to pack all of their things into, say, a carry-on. So you might see 3 shirts and a sweater and 2 pairs of pants and a jacket, and everything coordinates. And that's kind of the idea here, but without the only 3 shirts, I'm not traveling, and I just want a closet full of clothes that are comfortable and fit my body, coordinate with each other so that I can layer them and be creative with my wardrobe, and things that I can pair together depending on the season, or things that I can layer depending on the season. So if it's colder, I want to be able to put more layers on. And if it's warmer outside, I want to be able to just be in one layer. In my mind right now, it's kind of three of each as a goal. So 3 tops for summer, 3 that are more maybe transitional, so for spring or fall, and something maybe long sleeve for winter, and then 3 pairs of pants, 3 shorts, it's a lot of things, but having kind of those basics done, I think, is going to be kind of the initial goal. I might need more summer tops. I might need more, shorts later, but for now, I'm going to kind of set the goal at 3 of each and start there, So what does success look like for me here? I talked about everything coordinating and everything having a use seasonally, so that I kind of have a clear system where even if I have a matching set, I can wear the shirt with jeans, or I can wear the shorts with a white t-shirt, and it still work. Having things that are very flexible and comfortable is a priority for me. I don't work in an office, so I don't need this to be business casual or anything like that. This is really just a casual, everyday, maybe a little bit upscale if I need it to be, wardrobe, but there's going to be a lot of jeans and those kinds of things in this particular iteration of the system, if you will. Realistically, I just want this to support real life things that I can wear every day comfortably without any problem. Right now I wear a lot of spandex and bike shorts because I go to the gym in the morning, but I want things that I can put on after I've gone to the gym that still feel really comfortable but feel more put together if I want to. Right now I don't have a lot of that. I have a lot of, I'm wearing my gym clothes all day. So even though I'm not traveling right now, having something that I am working towards in the future, obviously I want to travel in the future, but having a wardrobe that I can, in a couple of years pull from and easy to pack and travels well, I think would be nice. That's low on the needs scale for me, from wants to travel and needs to be comfortable for everyday life, are 2 polar opposites at this point. So, but it's something I'm thinking about. The other thing is that I'm not pushing for this to be a full wardrobe of only things that I've made. Be so for real. I can get, t-shirts places. I can get great basics, Old Navy and some of those places. And I'm not gonna take things out of my wardrobe that I already have in pursuit of having an all me made wardrobe. That's ridiculous. That's nonsense. And it's not great. It's not like an eco-friendly option. Like, I know fast fashion is already not a great eco-friendly option, but getting rid of things you already have is worse. So I wear things until they are like not functioning anymore. And I will do the same with this me made wardrobe. Hopefully they last a little bit longer. But yeah, let's just like set the expectation that there are going to be things that I don't make in this capsule wardrobe, and that's cool. So let's like deep dive into like how my brain is piecing all of this together. In my mind, I have it kind of broken up into 3 like seasonal categories. I have things that I like are winter, things that are summer, and then kind of like the in-between stuff where you start to put layers on or you start to take layers off. And so I just called those like transitional kinds of things. In the winter, I'm aiming to use more like natural fabric, like fibers if I can. But I'm also aiming to use like thrifted fabrics from, you know, like linens, like bed linens and things that I can get at my fabric thrift store, which you never know when I'm going to be able to get there, and fabric that I already have here as a priority. So while I want to use more natural fibers, I'm also going to use what I have and what I can afford before I am super worried about that. So thinking in the terms of seasonality, winter is going to get more like sweaters and vests and like layers and long sleeves and those kinds of things. And like natural fiber wise, I'm looking at like, you know, wool sweaters and those kinds of fibers, but I'm open to those being like not 100% of either of those. Like if there's a little bit, you know, of acrylic or polyamide or whatever in those like yarns that I decide to use or buy, I'm not gonna like stress over that. And then in the summer, I don't want things to be like sheer at all, so that's gonna be kind of an interesting thing to figure out for me. I don't want things to be sheer, but I want them to be breathable. So I think even if my fabrics have a little more structure in the summer, but they're like sleeveless and they're not close to my body and it lets like air flow around, I think that's going to be okay. I don't want to have to like deal with like putting another layer on because the fabric was a little bit sheer and you can like see my bra through the shirt. Like that's not realistic. That's not setting me up for like a real life wardrobe that I want to wear. I don't want to have to think about it. I'm also thinking about those transitional things. Let me pull it up and show it to you. If you'll notice this transitional stuff, these are like sleeveless shirts. That's something I could totally put a long sleeve shirt underneath. There are neck scarves, which are nice in the winter and less nice in the summer. There are like breezy pants and like vests over shirts. And these are things that you can like layer on and off throughout the year. So in my mind, there are some core pieces that carry me through those seasonal changes, shirt-wise, jacket-wise, those kinds of things. So keeping my focus in like that core set of items as we go. I mean, spring is right around the corner. So I'm looking at the things that I'm going to wear in spring and summer right now, and then like layering in the like strictly summer items and the strictly like it's 32 degrees outside items. I think will save my sanity a little bit. It's going to be a little bit all over the place as I start making things and I start just like working with what I have. So how did I start this process? Well, in I think August of last year, I decided I wanted to focus on making a wardrobe of things that I like really loved and fit me really well. And I started a Pinterest board and I like just started like when I was in a mood to scroll, I would scroll Pinterest and just like pin things that I liked. And I literally did that for this set like all of the rest of 2025. So from the time I made it in August, so what, 6 months, all the way to December. And then as we turned into 2026, I knew it was time to like move the process from the like dreaming, collecting to like organizing and making a game plan. So if this is something you want to do, just like start pinning things into like a personal, what did I call mine? Personal style discovery. It's like things that you just kind of generally like. And at the beginning of the year, this year, I went through all those pins and I like dumped them into buckets. So like I have things that are like just strictly warm weather. I have things that are just cold weather. I have a transitional board that has like, it has most of the things on there because, you know, half the year is like in between hot and cold weather. And then I also have 2 categories for like dresses and skirts. I don't wear a lot of dresses and skirts, so having these like in my everyday wardrobe plan didn't make a lot of sense to me. If you do wear a lot of skirts and dresses in your everyday wardrobe, you don't have to have these categories. And obviously, like I keep pinning in here. So there are things that are in here that I have not organized since the first time I organized this, because I am like still trying to figure out what that looks like. It's like a continuous process. I'm not thinking about this as like a exact outfits kind of tool. I'm thinking of this in like a thinking and collecting tool. So once I had things sorted into like my couple of my few categories here, I opened up one of these and I just started scrolling and like taking note of patterns I was seeing. So for me specifically in this transitional board, there are a lot of sleeveless bodices. So I really like this one with the tie side, and I like a like a buttoned up collared shirt. But even in just these like 2 rows, I noticed that they're like basics, but not like the most basic of basics. So like this pink top has really nice details on it. I like the tie on the side. I like the slit at the bottom. I like the way they finished the hem. I like the little bit of ruffle on the, as like, it's a Mandarin style collar. I like the little bit of ruffle. I like it on the sleeve. I like it on the placket. I like basics that have like unique upscale kind of finishes. And these aren't like complicated finishes. They're just extra. There is a lot of gingham on here. There's a lot of stripes. There is a lot of denim. And like, I would consider this to be kind of in the like classic style, but also like it's a touch academia. Let's see if there's anything wildly different. There's a lot of cool earth tones in here. There's a little bit of red. I would like to integrate some bolder colors, but if earth tones end up being like more available or cheaper or, you know, whatever that ends up looking like, I'm open to like letting the color palette be chosen by what fabrics are available for me at the lowest price. There's a lot of neck scarves in here. I didn't expect that, but I don't wear a lot of jewelry, and so I'm interested to like try integrating, you know, scarves into my like daily outfits to see if that's something I like. May end up not liking it, but I pin a lot of it, so I should give it a shot, you know. There are a lot of vests and tie front shirts like this, sweaters, short sleeve sweaters, a lot of like denim tops, and a lot of these are very similar. So if I find a bodice that fits me really well, I can, you know, adjust that pattern to kind of fit the style of some of these. It's easy to shorten something and add a peplum. It's easy to add a ruffle to the bottom. All in all, like, this is pretty cohesive. So that's like the transitional version. Warm weather, it's a lot of the same. The fabrics are a little bit lighter in color, but also like there's a lot of gingham in here. Look, gingham matching set. I don't have a ton in here. Like breezy button-down shirts with tank tops underneath. Things that are comfortable and stretchy and breathable, but still look put together. I like this vest. I like this matching set. I mean, I like everything in here, but still a lot of the same like colors. There are earthy tones, and the summer color palette seems to kind of lean towards like that classic summer look that you would see like in a Nancy Meyers movie. Like those people wear like very like almost like coastal grandmother kind of vibes. I like how like easy and breezy those things feel. For winter, there's a lot of sweaters in here, y'all. And I can only knit so fast, but we're gonna do our best. There is a lot of colorwork sweaters, vests, textured sweaters, so not just like stripes or color work, but like this one in particular, something that has more of a texture or lace in it look in it. There's also like t-shirts and vests in here. You'll notice in the second half of this board, there are a lot of coats in this board. And if there's one thing I like, it's a fun coat. Like I have no reasonable reason to to love coats. It gets cold here, but it doesn't get like cold here, but there's something about putting on a coat that like perfectly matches what you're wearing underneath. That's just like so good. And the only real difference here is that in the winter board there are more blazers and there are more sweaters, but the colors are very similar to what is in the other board. Pretty classic, pretty a little more academia vibes in the winter stuff. But all in all, we've got like a pretty consistent style going across the board. I even think that there are some repeats from other boards in here. Like this, oh no, we're glitching. This top is in another pin in my transitional board, but it is layered over a long sleeve shirt, which is like genius, honestly. I never thought to do that. And there are a lot of just like sweaters and layers in here with some of those transitional pieces, which I love. Still a lot of neck scarves, winter scarves, sweaters, vests, those kinds of things to keep you warm. So as far as like the silhouettes go in that, there's not of like a lot of like fitted here. I want air to be able to circulate or in the summer, or for me to be able to put another layer underneath it in the winter. The only thing that I'm like really set on style wise is I tend to like that like camel colored, the leather pleather. Let's be real, I don't have real leather. But like I like the camel-y like leather color as opposed to like brown or black. It's just easier, it's been easier for me to style. I like the way it looks with navy, I like the way it looks with my other earth tones, and I like the way it looks during the summer. So like I have, you know, belts, loafers, sandals that are all in that, boots that are all in that color. And so I'm open to like adding brown, like a darker brown, but at this point I like have those things. I'm not replacing them until they're like gone. I try not to have like too many options so that I can just like not think about what I'm wearing. It's like, oh, I'm wearing a loafer today and I only have one pair, so those are the ones I'm wearing. Like I don't have to think about it. So assuming that that is gonna stand, that style is gonna stand for me, I kind of have that in my brain when I'm thinking about all these other colors. I'll go ahead and show you guys the boards I have for dresses and skirts. I have them separated for summer and winter. Let's look at the winter one. I don't have a lot here, but I probably want to have, you know, like 2 or 3 that I can wear during the summer, 2 or 3 that I can wear during the winter, or layer up during the winter. Those could be the same, they could be different. The vibes in here are very like academia, almost a little cottagey with all the plaids. If you're looking as far as like dresses and skirts go, colors are really similar to what I've got everywhere else. So I think if I focus on the other stuff first, when it gets to a point where I'm ready to like add in skirts and dresses, like it'll be really easy to figure out what I want to do with those. And those are going to take a lot more fabric. So focusing on some of the small things first, I think is going to give me more bang for my buck at the beginning. Let's look at the summer stuff, the summer dresses and skirts, you know, denim, gingham, stripes, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing crazy here. I guess this is all a little bit cottagey too with all the gingham. So classic, little academia, little cottagey, kind of a vibe. Hopefully these are things that I can wear for a long time, and I want them to like stay looking modern or classic to an extent. So you might notice that I have a lot of like constraints, but not like crazy rules, if that makes sense. Like, I want to have bolder colors, and I want natural fibers, and I want cohesion, and I want to keep costs low. But like, there's going to be a lot of trade-offs in this process. It's like, these are the guideposts, but like, break the rules where it makes sense. I'm not going to like make myself crazy trying to get all of those things. I don't want to let like perfection be the enemy of progress here. And my budget is low right now. I'm not going to like go out and buy yards of fabric. That's just not in my budget right now. But in the future, it could be in my budget. So letting this early stuff be like testing and thrifting and doing the best I can with what I have is kind of the goal. And if that means that I don't get natural fibers, or there's a mix of natural fibers, like I might want all cotton or all wool, but if those options are, say, $20 a yard if I'm sewing it, $20 a yard or $50 a yard, but the poly cotton is like $6.99 or $12.99 a yard, like I'm gonna opt for the poly cottons for now. It's not a perfect system. This is not a perfect system. I'm not gonna let like the things I want like long term stop me from starting now. Like, we're not going for perfection here. Truly, I'm going to let the stash of fabrics that I have and what I can get at the thrift stores like influence a lot of what's happening, like color and fiber wise. Like, let the universe take its course. I suspect that I'll be able to find earth tones a little bit better than the bolder colors that I want, but we'll see. I know this process can seem really overwhelming, especially if you're new to sewing or making anything clothing wise. Like, I'm still new to knitting, so like looking at all the sweaters I have in that winter board is a little bit overwhelming. But I'm like just at the precipice of starting the sewing part, and I think I'm kind of perpetually in the planning phase of this. Like, I kind of was in the dreaming phase, and that kind of is still happening. And now I'm like firmly in the planning phase. So like, I'm noticing the patterns of things that I have on the boards. I'm starting to look at fabrics in my stash and things that I might want to find at the thrift store. And I'm like starting to test patterns. It's really easy to try to want to like put this all into one like long video where I, plan and I dream and I plan and I execute all in one video. And like, realistically, that's not happening. This is going to be a long process of me finding, testing, and sewing and knitting over years, truthfully. You're not going to build a capsule wardrobe overnight. You're not going to build a wardrobe full of things that you love overnight. And that's just like realistic. And would I love to do it all in like a week? Absolutely. I would love that. But I'm in this process for the long haul. And I know that this is kind of something that I will be doing realistically over the course of my life. But right now, sewing like with a goal of having things that I can wear every day is kind of where I'm at. I said that I was in the testing phase. I'm testing the fit on the Sid tie top and the lane pants from Sydney Graham right now. I have never purchased a pattern from an indie designer before. I've always purchased from the big four, what are they? Simplicity, Butterick, Vogue, McCall's. And I always have to make a lot of changes on those, but based off of what I have cut so far and like the measuring directions I did, I just cut out the pattern with no changes on the top, on the bodice. So I'm interested to see how that turns out. It is in the process of being sewn on some old sheets right now. I'm just like testing the fit of the pattern on some old sheets right now. And I'm hoping that this bodice fits well enough that it can be a base for a lot of customizations later. But if it's not, I'll adjust the bust darts. I will, I'll go in and make some changes to those patterns. I'll make another test and I'll try again. Like, this is not gonna be a perfect process all the way through. It's about testing and trying and figuring things out as we go. Let me know if you have any other questions about this like process of building a wardrobe. If you want me to make a more in-depth training with directions on how I, built the Pinterest board and like notice the patterns and all of those things, let me know. I'd be happy to do that. If you want to continue to see the process of me building this Me-Made wardrobe over the course of time, go ahead and subscribe so that you get the notifications that I've posted posted another video. And I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into my brain and process of creating a cohesive capsule style wardrobe. I will see you next week. Bye.